Deuces are wild.
Don't you feel like going to Foxwoods today?
5 deuces.
Welcome to Tuesday, February 22nd's Town Board Work Session. Jerry could not be here today unexpectedly. He may Zoom in later, but he may not be on camera or speaking up. So I will be running the meeting. I had some dental work done yesterday, so I'm a little flat-footed because I wasn't expecting this or didn't get a chance to prepare. So bear with us as we go through today's agenda because I'm a little off kilter. So we'll start with the Pledge to Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're starting off with the COVID update. And this week's numbers, the official numbers for Shelter Island, 143 versus last week's 142. So we were up 1 case. And the 7-day positivity rate for Suffolk County went from 3.3% last week to 2.2%. So it was a 1.1% drop. So those are good trends that are just continuing. And with respect to meetings, we are on the West Neck Water meeting this morning, it was asked, are we back to in-person meetings? And we are. So, the town board is here, the public is welcome. With the governor not, re-upping the mask mandate, we are free to have people come in person and.
Will we still be checking vaccine status and stuff? I don't think so, right?
It's not
required.
It's not required. So we'd rather, open up, if everyone here is comfortable, open up the meetings to the public and allow, whoever wants to come to attend in person. But we will be continuing with the hybrid meetings so that people have that option to come in person or not. And in my opinion, I think it's been nice having the hybrid because it does allow more community participation. So we'll see, indefinitely if that's going to be our new norm of always having the interactive approach. But the Fit Center is back to, I have to double check with Bethany. I didn't get a chance to do that today. Where, exactly what, where they stand with the masks. Prior to December with the resurgence, it had been allowed that if you were vaccinated, that you did not have to wear a mask. If you were not vaccinated, then you had to wear a mask when exercising. So I suspect if she hasn't already gone back to that, we will be shortly.
Yeah.
We'll put that out and she'll put that out to the Fit Center members.
Are we going to let each committee decide for themselves if they want to remain virtual for now or come here in person? Or
I think we go with in person, but we will continue to do hybrid.
Yeah, I think certain committees, like I know the WMAC, like 3 members or 4 members sometimes are away, 2 are in Florida, 1 in the Southwest. So they're around,
Right.
It works for the WMAC.
The hybrid.
The hybrid,
Hybrid.
yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah, but I know at some point too, that is going to change because she extended our ability, or Hochul extended our ability to do the hybrid meeting. So eventually, I don't know when that changes, we're going to have to adjust how we're going to handle it, right?
The hybrid meetings are basically always allowed.
Right.
They're just looking to this additional rules regarding.
Okay.
You might- Can you
Just
hear
your
me?
mic.
Yeah, just be close to the. So, yeah, you're right.
Sounds good.
I always forget about that.
Yeah. Such a soft-spoken person.
Okay. That being said, the second item on the agenda was moorings, and it has 4 different subsets.
Right.
Online mooring LLC contract / MOU. And I don't know who put each of these items
I
on.
did.
So, okay, good. I throw that out there for whoever wants to pick it up.
But Jim, do you want to start first with the WMAC update, or do we want to do that when we do board members' reports at the end, as we usually do?
Well, I very quickly, I just put out, we acted on all of the applications. There's only 1 application that was the uplift mooring that needed further information, but everything else, Daly, Feifeld, Essenberg, Marks, and Vital, they were all approved. The 2 bulkheads were approved, Harlow and High Point Rock, and that was all sent out to them. And it was a good meeting. I think we accomplished a lot. I also attached the 11 concerns expressed by Tom Field. For those people out there, Tom Field is a local shell fisherman and fisherman, and he had some concerns he wanted to share with the town board. They were all enumerated on Condon Dock and Daniel Lloyd and the GIS system and wakeboarding and recreational fishing and closures of different fishing areas, moorings, riparian moorings, LLCs and transient anchor areas. So Tom, I just want you to know I recorded all of those. We'll keep working on those things. Some of them are a work in progress as we speak, but I did record all of those concerns that you had. All right, that was basically it.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, just to add to that, one thing that John Catula said last week that really stuck with me was that Shelter Island is not a marina. It was just something so well said and so good to keep in mind. That there are other uses of the water other than anchoring boats permanently in there. So I just think it's a nice perspective to have had. Now, if we can go to the online mooring, we have a contract with an outstanding memorandum of agreement with Online Moorings LLC. It was signed in 2010. It's an automatic renewal thing, but I think it's been long enough that we probably should review it, make sure we're still happy with it, and then re-sign and reassign, who is our lead contact with them, et cetera. In keeping with the supervisor's love of fees as opposed to taxes, the online mooring allows us to have the boater pay for the application, which is $6, and have either a new one or a renewal. And that fee plus if they want to pay online, there's an additional 3.25% or something, to cover the processing of the credit card. And that is what the total cost of what it would be of what it is to maintain this database for us. So I think that's pretty fair. I mean, I just think it's pretty fair, both to the boater, because it's not onerous, and to the rest of the townspeople who are maybe not voters. So that's one thing to know about this memorandum of agreement. The functionality in moorings and online moorings is, I think it's impressive, and I don't think I know half of it yet, frankly. But one of the things that I was surprised to hear is we can do it so that people can directly apply online. Right now, it's a PDF sort of download, print, bring it in. But we can do it all direct, which I think is really a worthwhile thing, and put in steps. So we saw an example where somebody tries to apply online, and let's say they don't have the boat registration uploaded. That flags, goes no further. And so you would have the option as a boater to fill it all out. You run into a hiccup, you don't have a boat registration, let's say. You could download it at that point, print it, and bring it into the town.
You guys are frozen.
All right.
Let me just talk for a
Yeah.
second before you pick up.
Yeah, please.
Can everybody hear me? Dottie, raise your hand. Okay. We all morning have been having internet problems. And so we in town hall keep getting kicked off. It rejoins eventually, although this at the end of the West Neck Waters meeting, we did not rejoin.
You just went off again.
And BJ, we'll try again.
I will try again. Back to online moorings, increased functionality, smoother process, better database maintenance. I think an improved experience for the boater, much improved, if they choose to use it. Again, if not, some people are not comfortable. The town clerk's office would be certainly open and available for you to come and submit your application in person, and the WMAC clerk certainly would be available to help you with any hiccups that you might encounter and need help with massaging the system. Now, the next thing I did, which Christina would like me to share digitally, so it'll just take me a second to do that. I did a flow chart, which is a proposal of workflow for the applications of moorings. Let me
So
just,
while you're doing that,
yeah, go ahead.
this basically is a work in progress.
Yes.
BJ has been refining this step by step with feedback from other people. It basically takes the online mooring system. It looks at two columns, new applications and renewals. The renewal application thing should be pretty easy to streamline. The new applications involve just a few more steps. Still involving the town clerk's office and of course, board approval.
Of course, I can't find it, Christina. So should we put this off until we can digitally share it, or? I can't find it on my computer. Oh, here it, I actually
It's
have
got
it.
to be.
I do have it.
In
Here
your
I have it.
email.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did do it. Hold on. All right, let me share. Hold on. Email. Save as attachment. It's not letting me. It's,
And one of the other things, as BJ is working on this, is the new role of the Bay Constables. Obviously, we do recognize that Mike Enklin's been the master here for decades, but that may not continue for a variety of reasons. It's just something that he just may end up giving up. And putting the Bay Constables back into the mix may be very, very helpful, because they can actually go to the site of the mooring applications as they make their rounds and actually take the GIS system and be able to pinpoint to a greater degree exact good locations especially for a new mooring application based on the size of the boat, prevailing winds and things of that nature, and the navigational channel itself. So having that ability to have the Bay Constables be able to do that, Stephen, Mr. Reese used to do that for us when he was on the board, and he did a lot of that work himself, working with the town clerk. But since Peter is no longer around with us here on the town board, having the Bay Constables take on this new responsibility might be the way to go. So.
All right, I'm still having no luck. So maybe we can come back to it later, or
Okay.
rather than discuss it.
One-
Is
without-
it created in SharePoint?
It might have been created in SharePoint. It's a Word document,
Yeah,
but I couldn't, yeah, because I'm
I mean,
searching
I
my
got it.
computer. I'm not finding. You got it, the colored one?
yeah.
All right.
Do you have it digitally? Can you email it to Christina?
I
Oh.
got to get off the screen
Gotcha.
to
I know.
do that. Problem.
Yeah. I'll just go on with the next
Mhm.
point while
Okay,
someone else
yes.
is looking.
Okay.
Waiting list. So Dottie has given us sent to me a copy of the waiting lists that we maintain. Quite a job, I will tell you, just quite a job. And so, as I mentioned before, that maybe we can get that online through online moorings. I think that would be good, nice transparency, all of that. And I think give people a better understanding of where they are at any point in time. Do I want to keep this boat?
Right.
Maybe or maybe I really should get in a mooring in another location while I'm waiting for my preferred location. All of those questions that come up kind of regularly with the waiting lists.
And that, for the most part, is what people do.
Yeah.
If there is a waiting list, let's say at Condon Dock, and that's their preferred spot, since there is a waiting list there, and it may take years for that name to come up, we normally go to an alternate spot of their choosing. So, the one thing about this new system is being able to pinpoint exactly where there's greater flexibility in terms of growth of moorings and other spots that are not so good, that are pretty tight right now. It also, I'm thinking out loud, it could help in terms of getting positive, feedback from the baymen and the fishermen, here on Shelter Island about, spots that we need to try to avoid if at all possible. It just, because obviously the fishing industry and the shellfishing industry is very big here on Shelter Island, and it's important to them. So it's trying to work the needs of a lot of people.
Right.
Marinas, boat owners, the town, the fishermen, and I think the other thing that BJ brought up is about the transparency. You would actually get to know pretty much firsthand, where you are on a waiting list and how long those things take to come to fruition.
To work through, right?
Yeah,
You could see
yeah.
that the guy, 10 spaces ahead of you was on
Right.
the list for 5 years.
Right, correct.
And that's useful information. I also think, some lists are getting quite full. And I don't define full, they're getting lengthy. Let me put it that
Mhm.
way. Maybe there's also there's maybe a time now to close some lists until we clear them a little bit.
Right.
Instead of putting people on them with the idea that it's going to be a decade or more. I'm not saying that that's definite, but I mean, it's something that we should discuss in terms of waiting lists, because I did notice that some of them are quite lengthy. Some of them are short and, and they're short for a reason, but still might take quite some time to get what you want. But, to know that you're number 8 on a list of 10 is a
Right.
different thing than to be number 8 on a list of 200. That's, the guy above you has been on it since 2014.
Yeah, and there are other complications that set in here, like Daniel Lloyd Road is a prime example of something where we might want to put a moratorium on for a while until we straighten that out a little bit. Legally, we have some issues there with property lines and what bodies of water we can use. So we've tried to eliminate some of the pulling moorings at the end of the road and move them to the south side of the road. But there's a lot of gear in there, a lot of old gear, a lot of spots that are not being used. We want to take a look at better ways of using less gear, so people can more easily move in and out of Daniel Lloyd at that particular spot. So there's a lot of good reasons why we need to do this.
Right. And back to what you were saying earlier, Jim, just to kind of get this out there, the idea that, to be looking at this with bayman needs in mind, shellfishing needs in mind. I foresee the WMAC, if this workflow chart comes to fruition, as being less involved in the nitty gritty and more involved in that bigger picture. We might look at a mooring area and say, oh, look, there's plenty of room. But if the WMAC becomes the place where people go to say, well, what's happening here is a lot of crabbing and a lot of, over here. So we would kind of prefer that the field doesn't spread more this way. And just the upkeep of that knowledge and that every year to review it and to make sure we're all still on the same page, I think is a kind of crucial thing of, in going forward in terms of discussing this. Did you find the flow chart? No.
No.
I don't know what I did with it.
Do you know which SharePoint it's in? I looked in the town board one. I looked in the WMAC one.
It's probably in something random.
If I come off this
One
chart, I
drive?
can still talk, right? Even
If
though
you just minimize your page and then you can open up.
Why not?
whatever you
Did
Okay.
you
want.
email it to anybody?
I thought I emailed it.
I didn't get it.
No, maybe I
I have the
didn't.
old original version.
Do we wanna-
Bo sent.
Do we want to go to Board of Ethics while I look?
We can all
Yeah, you
circle
can,
back
we
to
can
it, yeah.
circle back.
Circle
I'm
back.
gonna
Code
look
edits.
for it.
All right.
All right.
Code edits was the 4th item on this list. public, end the meeting and. Okay, what do you guys
Let's
think?
go ahead and say that, yes.
So that would solve your problem.
I'd say 3 strikes you're out.
Yeah, because this is getting really
I
frustrating.
would say that's strike 1. And if it's an extended period
Yeah.
of time, then,
And
but
it's-
alert them now
Yeah.
that that would be the
Yeah.
way to go, I think.
Do they say when they'll?
And
be
it's been going on
resolved?
Okay.
all day.
Okay,
Okay,
It's not like something that just happened.
all right.
yeah.
Okay, we're gonna try again,
Chris-
but if we get dropped again, we're going to cancel the meeting for the rest of the day because this is just getting too frustrating today.
And Christina, could you let me share my screen? Sorry.
And we've been having an issue all day long, all of town hall. Everyone's going down repeatedly all day. So just so you're aware, and we will resume with the rest of the agenda next week. So in the interim, BJ was able to find the flow
And-
chart.
And share it, I hope.
Yes, it's coming up now. So we'll go back to that. Fingers crossed.
So great. Yeah, I just needed time, too much time. I didn't confuse this by saying what we do now. It's pretty simple what we do now. This is actually not that much more complicated, just
Hey, everyone, given what was just said, do we think this meeting was canceled? Those of you who are on the screen now?
Second the motion.
Yeah. I think that's what Amber just said.
I think so.
Send a message via chat.
I mean, we can have a meeting if we want, but without the town board, I don't know if it matters.
I think it was the reference to ethics that froze the system.
That could be a possibility there, but I guess they're not coming back.